Hey guys, and welcome to this special episode of my occasional Let's Play of Bendy in the Dark Revival. And as you know, I've completed the main game, and now we're into like these little archives. Like what I did in Bendy and the Ink Machine. You see here, it says archives, which is almost like a museum. So yeah, welcome to the archives. You can see we've got Bendy in front of us and some other characters who we've seen throughout the game. That's Bendy right here himself. It was redesigned for the Dark Revival to stand out a bit from his traditional cartoon appearance by giving him a suit of clothes. Huh, I didn't even notice that. As Audrey, who we played as. You can see he's got the inkish all over here. All over her. Because of Wilson over here, we'll get to. I'm surprised by this sailor guy who. I'm surprised by this Sailor Dudley guy just ripped her legs off her. It's too bad I didn't get to shout out, my leg! Or should I say, my legs! And also, I've been recently watched the Hey Arnold Halloween special, where they think doing a prank that aliens are invading. Actually, I recommend watching that if you get the chance. And there's Wilson, who's the main villain of the game. You know, every time I hear his voice, he definitely kind of sounds like Cell in his imperfect form. You know, that I mentioned in the beginning. And also, I did mention he also sounded like Siphon from Ben 10, Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse. It must sound like if Dee Bradley Baker voiced him. Still a shame he made a gruesome demise. I mean, he's like a madman with that shredder machine. We'll get as Ink Demon. We'll get to this. I'll save for last. There we are with the infamous Butcher Gang. I remember them from the first game. Like their gargling noises in the first game. We were like. It sounds like someone's been. This sounds like they've been gargling shampoo. And Barley, Charlie, and Edgar. So which one's? I think Edgar is like the spider one, or is it Charlie? So is that Charlie, or is Edgar like the spider one, or something? Oh, that's Charlie, the ghost girl. Didn't we see her throughout my Let's Play of it? So this is Charlie, but which one's Which one's like Barley and Edgar? Okay, that's a Piper. So that must be the Barley and Edgar. There's Porter, who gave us the warping ability. You know, like teleporting into short distances, like warping to different parts of the game. Yeah, it's kind of like this was remembering like Codename Kids Next Door with they did a warp thing with the coffee. Well, at least I know number 5, Abigail Lincoln, was able to outsmart Copper Joe. I meant to mention that was what I didn't mention that Lenny joined them for a bit. You know, who's one of the delightful children. Mind you, remember when he took his helmet off, he had it like a retainer. He looked better like Jimmy from Ed and Eddie. It's like, no, wait! Oh, that was quite funny at the end where that case they had was like to be like some kind of a ticking device, and they were like, Lenny, you're an idiot. Like, what the? Let's see, that's Heidi, who played hide and seek with. It was a good job we found and know where she was. She's quite childish the way we look at her. Yeah, see what it says there? Anyway, let's go through the centerpiece. Here we are, that's Sammy Lawrence, who we know from the first game. You can see he's wearing a mask to hide his face. You know, when we saw him close up in at the final chapter of the first game, he has no eyes and no mouth. That was until Tom showed up and got him with the axe. And not to mention the whole searchers came up, so we had to fight them. I thought he was a goner after the ink demon got him. Oh, it says here he was sidelined in favor of telling a more coherent storyline. Ah, because he was intended to have a huge role in the game. Anyway, let's check over through here and see what we got. Oh, there's Alice Angel, who we know from the first game. We had to do tasks for her in Chapter 3. Not to mention she kidnapped Boris at the end. Can't believe she tried to kill us again in this game. I gotta tell you, she was mad with that Tommy gun. There's Lord Amok, who we've fought. You can see he's sitting on the throne, who we sat briefly on. Maybe when I sat on there, I do feel like a king. Oh, that's it. That's Shipperhoy Dudley. He's a demented invention of Wilson. Let's see, I had no idea Nathan Arch was his father. I've been wondering how come he's not chasing us. I had no idea who he was when I fought him. Hey, that's a big brute. Lurker. Or Steve. Oh, there's King Widow. Oh, he's a Bendy spider who we fought. Too bad. Well, it's good that I'm not doing any pesticides. Yeah, the name reminds me of like the Black Widow. You know, like a Black Widow spider. Mind you, I think you'll find them in like Australia, which are like venomous. I think there's also the Red Widows as well. Mind you, I think remember Rosie from A Bug's Life? I mean, she's a Black Widow spider. I mean, she was one of the circus bugs who you like flick brought back to fight against the grasshoppers. Like, remember at one stage, I remember he's like, "Not right now, Rosie, I'm making a speech." Like, now I truly believe that these bugs are the answer to our... No, there's no circus around here. So Huh? Mind you, if you watch my Bug's Life voice impressions, you'll probably get what I mean. I totally nailed Flick. I didn't think we had like spiders in Bendy. They're worse than the Tried. Those widows we saw were worse than the ticks and Tried in Doom 3. Yeah, I think we'll get around to the ink machine at some stage. There's Joey Drew. As you remember, if you look up close, he does kind of remind me of Walt Disney with the mustache and all that. And I think the last time we saw Joey Audrey in the first game was when he was an old man in that apartment. And at the end of this game, we went into his derelict apartment after he died. Because the reason why I say derelict is it felt like no one has been in there for years. There's Betty, who's like Wilson's housekeeper. I always think of her as like Mrs. Doubtfire. It's the one with Robin Williams in it. Oh, there's Wilson and Audrey in human form. So this is like the layout for the Arch pictures. There's the animation desk, which was used way back in the day before we had computers. Audrey's Donut. Ooh. So that's Nathan Arch Sr. Yeah, it's Audrey as a human. And Audrey and Wilson again. Actually, if you look at here, if you look closely, he's like blind in one eye. Which kind of reminds me of like Dr. Betruger from Doom 3. Except Betruger was like a scientist, you may remember. He was doing some unauthorized experiments on Mars prior to Doom 3. I explain why Elliot Swan and Jack Campbell arrived to do like a review to find out what's going on. There's Henry Stein, who we played as in the first game. And that's Allison, the good version of Alice Angel. There's Tom. He looks almost like Boris, except with a mechanical arm. Mind you, his arm's kind of like biomechanical, really, kind of. Yeah, it's kind of like reminds me of like Bionicle, for instance. Mind you, if you know, I did like the fan dubs of the Bionicle MP's 2 Ignition films, and I'm planning on doing like a third, which there's another team doing like Bionicle Ignition 3 as a mini-series. And if that's complete, I might try and compress them all into like one movie, which I might focus on the main events from that took place in Carter Nui, and I might consider on doing like putting like the Federation of Fear parts. And also, many of you know that the Bionicle YouTuber, the Shadowed11, sadly passed away last year in November. At the young age of like, I don't know, 20. Passed away at the age of like, I don't know, 20. Was it 28? To be fair, he was a real talented YouTuber and a good friend to anyone. I mean, I had no idea that had happened. Anyway, there's the ink machine itself. It's designed by Thomas Connor of the Gent Corporation, stolen by Joey Drew, retrieved by Archgate, and once again reclaimed by Gent. The ink machine's next adventure is a mystery. So that's like hinting up in the third game that Gent Corporation had reclaimed it. Well, I don't know what they're gonna do to it, but you know, but where's the keepers? Shouldn't they be here? Anyway, let's focus on this beast, the Ink Demon. Like, you know, Ink Bendy. I'm like, how can he stop chasing us? Look at him here. He looks more. That's his beast form right here. I mean, how do you compare? I don't know how you can compare him to like Huggy Wuggy from Puppy Playtime. I think Huggy Wuggy would be like taller, really taller than him. You're like 19 feet. He's like the height of 19 feet. Yeah. I mean, how do I compare him to like a 19-foot like toy killing machine? Couldn't believe we had to hide from him every time he appears, like I did in the Ink Machine. Well, in the Ink Machine, if I'm out there while he was like walking around, he'll notice me or spot me if I'm facing him. There's so much to learn in this part, which still almost feels like a museum. Anyway, I think that's enough looking around, but anyway, I think I like to watch. As I said, I like to thank you all for enjoying my occasional Let's Play of Bendy and the Dark Revival. And like I said, I've got so many things to be getting on with. And I think I might see you all next time. And until then, take care, everybody.